This is Juliet, and today I would like to talk to you about saying no. It is a common thing in business that actually we have many projects running, a very long to do list, and so it is also a game of prioritizing. So imagine a scene when your boss comes in and you have already a huge to do list, and they start piling on top of it even other things to do that are extremely urgent, according to what they're saying, and that needs to be done immediately on top of the rest. So this is certainly a common theme that we all know about. And in this moment, you cannot just, you know, accept everything and just go with it and say, okay, I'm just going to do overtime and that's it. Sometimes, yes, it happens because we have just additional tasks that need to be done. But doing overtime on a long basis, on a long-term basis, cannot be a solution. Because imagine that your backlog is already like 50 items long and you have already so many things on it. If you every time that happens just do overtime, you'll be working every day, making overtime hours. Yes, you might be a high achiever, but you're going to get drained, you're going to get tired, and with time in the long run, it's just going to be fatiguing and you're not going to be productive anymore. So it is really a question of prioritizing and saying what really is urgent at this moment. And there are people who don't really know how to prioritize and say this is now urgent, more urgent than something else. So everything is urgent. Everything needs to be done immediately. And so when that happens, it is, of course, also our job to find what is more important and what is it less. It doesn't mean that it's not, but what is less important and less urgent at this moment. So it is about our knowledge of the sector. So for example, if you're in a client or customer facing role, if there are fires to be blown out in the sense that there is something happening that is important for the client immediately, of course, that is a priority towards something else that might be a structural change in the system that is not that urgent. Of course, it needs to be done too, but might not be just in this second right now. So the first thing is on our side to find the priority of things because we know our jobs, right? But at the second, it is also to communicate. It needs to be spoken out and you need to speak up and communicate it to the people around you or to your boss that it just cannot be done everything plus another task on top of it. So imagine if it's in the agile world, you have those very specific sprints and the time is fixed. So if you just add another task on top of it, the rest is going to suffer. And so one thing has to be falling off the list, you can say, when you add something new. That is a known principle. So you need to communicate, but we often have kind of blockages or hesitancies to say no to something when such a task or kind comes up, right? And so let's explore a little bit what might be those reasons that makes us hinder or be reluctant to actually say no when somebody asks us to do even more than we already do. Okay, so there is one concept that says, I'm a high achiever. I got this. I need to be capable of managing high workloads because I'm a high achiever. Then there is another one that says, if I refuse to do this, then I might be seen as incapable, or I might be seen as lazy, or my boss might just think, I don't know how to do this, or he might be thinking that actually I don't care. So refusing and saying no is being put at the equivalent of I'm seen as incapable, lazy, or I just don't want to do it for whatever reason. So it might be showing less of an interest in my position in my company. That can be perceived that way, of course. But it is really the question of managing that workload on a long-term basis. Because it is really, if we are high achievers, we have a tendency to be wanting to go up and beyond what is expected from us. But this doesn't always take into account on a long term how that might look, because there might be phases, of course. It might be, like when it's a year-end closing, or if it's a cyclical business where there is, at certain times during the year, there is more workload than other times of the year. It can happen. You will have to work more, but that is normal. But if it becomes a habit, and if it becomes something that is throughout the entire year, always on high charge, on overcharge, it has a very, very negative effect on our bodies and our minds. So it has an effect on how we feel. It feels, if you're drained, if you're fatigued and tired all the time, and we cannot even recuperate anymore, then it is starting to get unhealthy. It really does. And so it is also a question about managing your energy levels. So actually saying no to a task, saying no to something that has come up as urgent again, might be saying yes to the more priority tasks. It might be saying yes to the successful completion of a project. It might be saying yes to you being motivated and really energized to go to the end of the project. So of course, if it is like something that is cyclical, as I just said, it is okay and it needs to be done. That is just part of, that work works. But at the same time, if it becomes a regular habit and it starts impacting your health, it starts impacting your motivation, it starts impacting, you're feeling drained and tired all the time. Or if you start sleeping really badly, or if you have difficulty sleeping through because you wake up in the middle of the night, thinking about what still needs to be done and, oh, I'm not managing this, I should be doing this. When you have all those thoughts, it's starting to really, really manage and damaging your health. So when it's that far, it would be really time to take a step back and think about doing something about it and changing something. So, for you to have better balance in your life, for you to know that this is a marathon and not a sprint, in the real sense. And so that actually you need to manage your energy levels, you need to manage your motivation. And it might be just a discussion of you being reluctant to say no because you feel all those things that we just discussed about before. But in the long term, if you want to be a high achiever and you keep your energy high, your motivation high, sometimes we need to say no. That's it for today. Thank you for watching and talk to you soon.